Hey guys, it's been a while, hasn't it?
Welcome to the PrinceOnyx Network.
So let's talk about rebranding and changing the narrative and pandering, shall we? So in recent news, it has been brought to our attention and everyone's attention that brands such as Aunt Jemima, Uncle Ben's Rice, and Cream of Wheat are now going to finally, after years of using these stereotypical images against black Americans for so long, both domestically and globally, they're finally going to do away with these images. But see, the thing is, it's crazy how now you guys want to pander and make it seem like, oh, woo woo woo, woo 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 woo, we actually care about you Negroes, when in actuality you didn't. And because, see, the thing is, a lot of people really didn't pay attention to this, and I found this out recently myself too, is that when it came to these brands, they were sold around they were really popular more so in the 60s during the pro-black revolutionary era. And so you have people such as our parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents, whoever was around back then, thinking that they were possibly supporting a black-owned business because this product had the face of a black person on it. When in actuality, you were supporting a racist institution, another racist company that didn't give a damn about us, but now they want to do away with these images. When people first petitioned for the Aunt Jemima image to be, erased and gotten rid of, no, you know what they did? Simply, hold on. They simply removed the scarf. This is a head wrap of mine. It's from a black-owned business. Nonetheless, they simply removed the head wrap. That's all they did. They simply removed the scarf. That was it. And they just, kept her smiling and just, that's it. That's all. So, and then with Cream of Wheat, they took the picture of a guy who was a chef here in Chicago, I believe, by the name of Frank L. White. They took a picture of him and used his image and circulated it on their products for years to come. For years and decades to come. And then with Uncle Ben, I believe they're saying that the person's name, here, let me see, one second. The person's name was apparently Frank Brown, but then you got a lot of people, it's kind of up in the air on if this was a real person as well from Chicago. So it's like a fact or fiction type of thing with him, but the rumor has it was that he simply, they asked him to take a picture, he did it and just got paid $20. $20 fucking. So, hypothetically, if this is a fact and not fiction, which I'm more so leaning on the factuality of things, it just goes to show how little we are valued. And then it just, and then Jack Daniels. People, including myself, again, I found this out some years ago, but it was originally started by a black man. And when they finally got called out about it because they stole the recipe from him, you know what they did? They sent his descendants to college. And I'm not saying that college, is a bad thing, but it's like, okay, you couldn't cut them a large check for all the profits you've made off of this man's name and this product that he created, that he invented. Hell, the National Hockey League just showed everybody, which I found this out back in 2015, so it wasn't a shock to me, but the National Hockey League just admitted to how, oh yeah, shout out to the first, and they did this on Juneteenth, I believe. Shout out to, it was a shout out of the first African American, Black American hockey team in America, in this country. Either they were in this country, in Canada, whatever the case is, y'all, they were the first. Because again, we invented everything. Everything. Even the black man who invented the Super Soaker, which was a hot toy back in the day. For those of y'all who have older siblings, they can tell you about it. It was a hot toy back in the day. It was a hot toy back in the day, and they for years denied him essentially his reparation, so to speak, his credit, his everything. And they just recently, as of 2018, 2017, recently finally cut that man a check. Finally cut him a check. And see, this was during the time where you could go to the trademark office and get your stuff trademarked and patented. This wasn't like back then in the 1800s, and so when black people did invent something, white people stole it, particularly white men, went to the trademark office because they had the resources, they had the access, they had the funds, they had the substantial amount of wealth to where, oh, okay, let me just take this from this little Negro right here, this idiot who was really a genius, and let me go trademark it and copyright it so that me and my family can live off of this wealth, this enormous amount of wealth that we're going to soak in for years to come. It just, y'all, you know what? It's just funny to me. It's really funny to me for those who have been following me for a long time. You know, I was before it became popularized on YouTube and on Twitter and Instagram and other digital spaces, before it became more popularized to be so proud to be black and acknowledging things like Juneteenth and acknowledging that Egypt is a part of Africa and acknowledging the Moors and, you know, before all of that, I was talking about it, but see, I was being overlooked, and so that played a role into, you know, me not being on YouTube for a while, but feeling the spirit of return, the Sankofa, if you will. I'm glad that I'm back. I'm glad that I'm back to bring this to you guys' attention for those of you who may not be aware of it, or even if you are aware of it from whatever other content creator you're watching, that's fine. But it's just like, you know, with us, we've always had everything stolen from us, even down to, I mean, hell, chattel slavery, being taken from your land, stripped of your name, your identity, everything, your religious practices, your beliefs, your gods, your goddesses, your everything, and being given a new identity, all to still be a piece of property, all to still be considered as 3/5 of a human being. It's just like the pandering. I don't want us to fall for it. Like, you got people who are really skeptical of it, and that's the type of energy I like to see. I like that skepticism because it shows these brands that it's like, yo, we're not just gonna take this, that you're gonna get rid of these images and we're gonna be okay with that. No, we're not just going to accept that. We're not. Because for Aunt Jemima, you know, Nancy Green, who that person is based off of, that imagery, that racist, stereotypical imagery is based off of, the same imagery that is used to degrade darker skinned black women, fat black women, it's used to degrade them into these nanny stereotypes, such as the one from Gone with the Wind, which now apparently Hollywood is trying to rebrand that movie. It's too little too late. It's too little too late. If you want to rebrand, quote unquote, you find out if Hattie McDaniel had any descendants and you financially helped them. That's a rebrand to me. Not you trying to change this literal piece of filmography, this literal piece of film history that is embedded in the minds of the same people who don't give a damn about us. Because no matter how many movies, no matter how many white movies they get remade with black people, we're still going to be seen as lesser than. We're still going to be treated as lesser than. No matter what it is that you do as far as rebranding and pandering. And speaking of pandering, when it comes to the curious case of Gilbert Arenas, the same man who a few years ago said that Lupita Nyong'o looks like a 3 out of a 10, and how everybody was talking about her beautiful skin, but oh, that face, no one's talking about that. I'm ugly myself, so I know what it's like. It's like, you know what? This is why, I know I'm all over the place, but just follow me. This is why black women have such a hard time more and more with getting behind the plight of the black man as well, because for so long you have black men like Gilbert Arenas and even Steven Jackson, or whatever his name is, you know, George Floyd's bootleg twin. You have these men who have it ingrained in their minds. And there's that other basketball player, I forgot his name, but he looks like a goddamn troll in the face. He just looks so demonic. You have these idiots. You have these idiots who are literally spreading this poisonous viper, this venom through the black community by way of our black boys and men, that, oh, you do not need to be with a dark-skinned black woman or a brown-skinned black woman. You got to get with a light-skinned, biracial, racially ambiguous, exotic-looking chick. And it's for that very reason that that type of rhetoric is the same reason why there's an extermination of dark skin going on right now. Whether you be in Brazil, whether you be in Belize, whether you be in the Caribbean, hell, what was happening in the Dominican Republic not too long ago, with Haitians literally being driven out. Being driven out, even if you were born there, but being driven out and driven back to Haiti, which there's a body of water that separates those two fucking countries. But, you know, we don't want to talk about that. We don't want to acknowledge that. We don't want to be aware of what's going on in Cambodia, in the Philippines, in Brazil, in India, anywhere where there is dark-skinned people, in Liberia. Like, we don't want to acknowledge that. No. We would rather acknowledge the public faces, the more lighter, close to whiteness faces that are being seen. We don't want to acknowledge the true faces of these countries. We don't want to acknowledge the real history of the world. That's what we don't want to acknowledge. And it is for that reason that rebranding and pandering, going back to Gilbert Arenas, because now he's seen the light. Now he's seen the error of his ways. Now he is so apologetic. He's so sorry, and we need to protect black women. You know what? Screw your apology. Because if you cared about protecting black women, Toyin would still be here. She would still be here. But oh no, you know, because you had so many people, and I know this is probably going to be a long video, hold on. You had so many people, so many black men specifically, online basically justifying her death because she was a Nigerian American, and apparently she was scamming man out of money. But oh, shame on her for allegedly doing that, when you guys are the same ones on YouTube pandering to an audience about the black plight and the black struggle, and how you are willing to be the next Marcus Garvey, the next Malcolm X, the next Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. You're pandering yourself as this savior for black people, as this Booker T. Washington, Frederick Douglass energy. You're pulling from this energy of the ancestors, which you have no right to do. But yet you're pandering to them and begging and pleading for them to, you know, Cash App you, send you money to Venmo, PayPal, whatever the case is. It's bewildering. It's bewildering to me that, you know, these idiots, these disgusting demons within our community are able to, you know, it's okay for them to beg and pander and essentially scam people out of their money. Because whatever it is that they want you to support, whether it be a book or a movie or a documentary or whatever that they're supposedly working on, they end up, when you ask them questions about that product, they get pissed off. But how are you going to be mad at somebody about, you know, their money that they gave you because they believed in you, because they thought it was true. They thought that you were the one. That the time has come, and it is your time. Lead us both back to one. You know, it's okay to yell at them and get mad at them and berate them and call them coons and call them sellouts and call them Sambos and call them this and call them that. It's okay to do that. But with Toyin, allegedly, oh, let's talk about her, let's trash her and say that it was okay for her to have been tortured. She was tortured and held captive for 3 to 5 days with this serial killer who also killed another black woman, another protester in the area, kidnapped and killed her as well. It's okay because of what she allegedly did. And even if she did do that with scamming man for money, you know what? So what? So what? People have done worse. People have done worse for money. So what, you got scammed by somebody? Child, I done got scammed out of $1,700. $500 to this one editor to edit my film. That fell through. $1,200 to this other guy who I actually worked with in the past. And he just took the money and ran. Which is, you know, and I'm still suffering as a result of that till this day, still picking up the pieces. But am I justifying for their deaths? Am I justifying if something happened to them? Because both these gentlemen are alive. But would I be justifying for something to happen to them? And if something did happen, would I say, oh, well, it's all right because they scammed me out of da-da-da-da-da? No. Because you have to be mindful of the energy that you are putting out there. It is the same reason that we are being divided as a people, as black people, with this fictitious, frivolous, idiotic gender war that's going on. It's just, when it comes to pandering, it is dangerous because it is a tool used to tap into the sympathy and the emotionalism and the empathy, the overwhelming amount of sympathy and empathy that black people have because we're such an open arms type of community. Oh, come on in. All are welcome. And it is with that mentality that the Moors got screwed over, the Egyptians got screwed over, after our ancestors along the west coast of Africa got screwed over and continue to get screwed over as an entire continent till this day. Pandering, it's just, it makes it okay to do what you did. Because you know that you can turn back around and be like, oh, well, I'm sorry, black people. Please forgive me. Please forgive me for, you know, using the Aunt Jemima image. Please forgive me for stealing the whole thing from Jack Daniels and only sending his descendants to college and not giving them the financial equity and the things that they need, the leverage to leverage themselves so that they can be better than us. Sorry for, you know, for the Uncle Ben's rice. Sorry for the cream of wheat. Sorry for whatever it is. It's like, yo, these are the same people whose ancestors down south in Florida particularly would use black babies as bait for alligators. And you really expect me to accept an apology from you? And not in the form of reparations, not in the form of equity, money, which, I mean, hell, it's like people really thinking that, oh, well, okay, they're getting rid of the imagery, so it's okay to support these companies still, when again, none of this money is going to the descendants of Frank L. White, or Frank Brown, or Nancy Gray. And as far as Gilbert Arenas realizing his, mistake about his comments towards Lupita, no, it wasn't a mistake, sweetheart. That's how you feel, because that's how a majority of these black men in the industry feel. It's how a majority of them feel, because they've been trained. They've been trained in their minds to think this way. So don't think that, oh, he didn't really mean it. No, he did. He did. Just like Steven Jackson said a few years ago about how black women are the worst to have children with because of child support and baby mama drama and blah, 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 blah. But now you want to be all pro-black and woke when it came to the case of your twin, George Floyd, being killed. You know what? Y'all disgust me. Y'all disgust me. And it's just, it's sad. Not y'all as in the audience that are watching this and enjoying this content and we can have a discourse and a dialect and a dialogue, but the idiots who think this is cute. This is not cute. This is the war that we are going through right now. It's never going to be cute. It's never been cute. War was never meant to be pretty. You can't put an image of war on a postcard and send it to your nana, now can you? To your mima, to your granny, to your grandpa, to your papa, whoever, your aunties and uncles, your mima, whatever. Just know that rebranding more so, rebranding and pandering is not going to be tolerated ever when it comes to that plight of black Americans, of black people. Because pandering makes it seem like everything's okay with what you did. It's a simple slap on the wrist. It's a, oh, don't do that again. Oh, you finally got caught. Don't do it again. That's all I got, you guys. PrinceOnyx, I'm out. Peace.
Welcome to the PrinceOnyx Network.